This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB, your friendly late-stage midlife husband, dad, and self-diagnosed ADHD connoisseur. This is all about candid conversation with friends, colleagues, and professionals, unpacking life's lessons and having a damn fun time doing it. And hey, sometimes we're going to veer off topic. But isn't that what makes life interesting? Let's talk about taking the good parts and leaving the bad. Because life's too short for unnecessary baggage. This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB. And now your host, Jason Becker.
All right. Well, here we are for our second episode. Super excited about the second episode. While we're getting it started, and thank you, by the way, everybody that's liked and subscribed and viewed. I mean, it's really kind of gone kind of through the roof, man. Yeah, really for a first episode.
Like,
I think
who do
we're
we
like
know
500 something subscribers. I thought like 3 people would subscribe to this thing. You know?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we've doubled up.
They've got to all be like Chinese bots, though,
Yeah,
right?
for
I mean,
sure.
somebody like
Did you
flooded
buy
us
bots?
with it, like,
What is going on?
Most likely.
yeah, they're all like underground. No, actually, every single one of you, we love you.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for being here, really, and listening, and hopefully, again, you learned something. Today, I do want to give a shout out, though, to one of my favorite wines, Theorem Vineyards. It's a great time. Brandon, you've been to this vineyard with me.
Very
great spot,
private.
right? It is
beautiful. Probably the prettiest vineyard I saw in Napa.
Small batch, family-owned winery. These guys, crazy enough, I think the husband and wife, the one's a mathematician and then the other one's a lawyer.
Really?
So theorem comes from think math, and then the bottle we're drinking is called voir dire, which is what you do when you question a jury. Mm-hmm. And you're picking a jury pool.
Wow.
So it's really interesting in that sense that they settled on the name Theorem, but they were really looking for a place to have a house in Napa. They loved the wine area and wine country, and they wanted a place in Napa. And it was an old vineyard that had just didn't take. So they thought, I guess the guy walked away from it. It was really in disrepair. And the couple, started just weird circumstance, as they told me the story, just stumbled on the fact that, the realtor ended up getting them into a winemaker, and it turned out it was Thomas Rivers Brown, who is me saying that if you love wine, these very famous winemaker. He then goes and finds the terroir. I'm saying this wrong. Their terroir, I think, which is like the minerals and everything in the dirt, and says this is one of the greatest places to make wine I've ever seen. You got some good dirt. You got some good dirt. You got some good dirt. And so they were obviously excited about that, and so they made this is their kind of the cab that started it all, and he made it, and it's just amazing. It gets highly rated. It's hard to find because there's such a small batch winery. So, I'm sharing it with you jabronis, but that's what you do with wine, awesome. Right? I mean, Theorem, their statement, they say at Theorem Vineyards, we create wines that tell the story of the site and the soils from which they originate. Along with our winemaker, Thomas Rivers Brown, our philosophy begins with using the highest quality of fruit. Only the best of our yield makes it into the barrel. So, I mean, really great wine. So I want to say a cheers to you again. Hope you pulling out your beverage of choice with us. But as always, drink only if you're over 21 and drink responsibly. But
hey, I am a wine enthusiast. The more wine I drink, the more enthusiastic I get.
Fun fact, you can find this at your local Publix, but if you look, they put these little taglines underneath the wine deal, and I just happened to look up the other day. By the way, you're not finding this wine in Publix.
I don't think this is Publix.
It's in Publix.
No.
Honestly, I think you should go to their website if you like it. Again, it's Theorem, Theorem, Theorem Vineyards, and you should check them out, and maybe you can get on their list and see if you can't pick up a bottle or a case, or heck, they'll sell you a barrel probably. I don't know.
Sure they will.
Yeah,
sure they will.
Send the whole barrel. But great stuff. But they're in Publix though, which by the way they do have a great
Publix
wine
has a
selection.
bunch of
They
good
really do a good
high-end
job.
wine.
They do a great job. Honestly, I think people always ask me, do you have to drink the expensive stuff? I mean, quite frankly, if you like it, drink it. That's the way it
Actually,
is about
no.
wine, right?
A wine sommelier at the Publix in Watercolor. I know they got
Oh, you know him.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out there.
He knows his wine.
There, he
He's
knows
from
his
California, actually. So
Yeah, that's where all the good stuff's from. But fun fact, the word toast is a meaning of wishing a good person, good health, or not a good person, any person, I guess. Good health could be a bad person you wish, but nonetheless, wishing good health. A toast started in ancient Rome, according to the Publix board. It started in ancient Rome, where a piece of toasted bread was dropped into wine. Toast. I don't know if I buy that story. What do you think? I mean, Publix is. Do you think they're doing it right?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Okay. They're educating you.
Well, this show, the topic today is going to be on integrity. How do we live life in integrity,
Does
business
Publix have
integrity?
integrity?
Does Publix have integrity in their
I think
advertising?
they do.
Yeah.
I think maybe. Yeah. I mean, I shop there. I got to trust
They're a
them to a
powerhouse.
degree.
They're a powerhouse in
Florida.
the South,
They're
yeah.
a Florida company.
Florida-based.
Still privately owned. I mean,
They got it. I think they're the Tampa area. I think's where they're out of. Somewhere close to there, I believe.
My youngest daughter works at Publix. In fact, my middle child, she's the only one that didn't work at Publix. My son bagged groceries at Publix. My youngest daughter works at Publix and
I
bags
bagged at
groceries there.
Albertsons.
Albertsons.
That was my first job. Was Albertsons.
Really?
It's actually a Publix now in Tallahassee, but yeah,
Imagine
it was
that.
Albertsons.
That's funny. So, look, I was going to introduce Cindy Cole. She had an emergency come up where she couldn't be here for this particular episode, but Joe's in town, and you were planning on being here anyway. We wanted to shoot this episode. So glad you're here. Like I mentioned last time, you are a realtor and broker, and you own your own brokerage there in McDonough, Georgia. So I really want to explore some of that with you.
Yeah, great.
While we do that. So I'm really glad you're here. I mean, great friend of mine. I think people probably picked this up, how long we've known each other. The first episode really is kind of introductory to a little bit of who we are and what we're doing. But we're going to dive into Joe because I've always kind of wanted to interview you and put you on the hot seat. And here we are. I mean, 20 years later,
Serving wine. I think.
Or is it 20 years later? Actually, it'd be, wouldn't it? Third?
Yeah. I think the 3.
We might be in the 35 years of friendship. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's a
30
long
something.
time of knowing somebody.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's some good and some bad.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what makes good friendship.
So before we dive in, though, new news. So if anybody's got any new news that they know of, anything that you want to share with the interwebs and our 500 and something subscribers we have now, just share away.
I don't know if I got anything. I love everybody. Thank you for the likes.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to share that my daughter's birthday, my middle child, my oldest daughter, she turned 18
Come on.
here recently.
Nice. Happy
adult.
She's
Young
adult.
adult.
I have 2 adults.
I'm gonna get her a pack of cigarettes for her birthday.
Some scratchers.
You can't do that.
Oh, I mean,
It's
I was
21.
just kidding.
One, you shouldn't do that at all, but it's 21, I think, to buy cigarettes. And
Is
It's
it?
18.
Is it 18?
Yeah, lottos,
I think it's 18.
tobacco.
Not all tobacco. I think I feel like we have to go.
I don't know about marijuana. I know tobacco is 18.
18.
It's 18.
Well, you got to have a medical card to buy cannabis in Florida, and I
Cannabis,
think
yes.
you can do that.
I
at
don't know what the
18.
age is
I
on
think
it.
you
Yeah,
can
it
do
is
that at 18. But I mean,
Well,
I
yes.
think you can only buy lottery tickets and vote in Florida. I don't think you can
Oh, I know
buy
you
cigarettes.
can. I
I'm
worked at
telling you.
Albertsons, dude. I'm telling you.
100 years ago. I mean, Papa
It was the
Smurf.
Great Depression, but it's now a Publix. No, it's 18. I mean, we could Google it, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay, look, somebody at home needs to comment because I'm almost positive.
I think you can get cigs
That-
at 18.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
In Florida,
Pretty
by the
certain.
way, we're talking about Florida. I don't know about Georgia.
you should
You can get
Florida, you
anything
get
in
alcohol. at
Georgia's
18.
12. I think.
Yeah, I think Georgia's 12. Alabama's 10.
Yeah.
So we're talking about buying cigarettes.
Yeah. They
What
just,
is
They just
wrong?
pass them out.
You know, I was in Vegas
They do.
years ago. I was in Vegas, and Danielle and I were just walking the strip. It was middle of the day or whatever, going to lunch or whatnot down from. We're right in the middle of it, kind of the Aria area.
Yeah.
And this lady walks up to me and says, "Do you have a cigarette?" She's bumming a cigarette off me, and I was like, "No." Yeah, I'm politely, "No, I don't have a
Yeah.
cigarette." And then she looked so weird at me. She was just like, "You don't have a cigarette in
Like, it's
Vegas?"
2024.
I mean, you don't have. I looked
Things
at
have
her and I said, "Why are you making me
The villain.
feel weird?" I said, actually, this is settled science. I told her this. This is settled
Settled
science. There is not 9 out of 10 doctors, 10 out of 10 10 doctors agree that you should not smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 out of 10. It's settled science. So, and by the way, smokers, if you're a smoker and you're listening to this, I want to tell you, I know the struggle's real. I know people, my father smoked for a long time. I know people that smoke. And so the struggle's real, very real. I know the addiction's real. They knew what they were doing when they put the nicotine in it. They knew what was happening. And so look, I whatever course you take down that road to get off of it, I tell you that 10 out of 10 doctors though tell you, and you know it's not any good if you're smoking.
I tell you the best way to quit is to take a 10-day cruise on a cruise ship that doesn't allow smoking.
I've done that before on a 7-day cruise. But they kick people off for smoking. They're like, you got to find your own way home.
I believe it.
Carnival did that with the Carnival Paradise and the first non-smoking ship, and it didn't work at all. So Paradise is now a smoking ship.
Yeah, they have designated areas most that I see now, but I know back in the day that's
It's
how
kind
I
of just
quit
a
cold
casino
turkey.
now on cruise ships.
Yeah,
Even if that, you don't smell smoke like you used to.
Yeah.
You really don't.
You know, it's
Well, everybody's vaping, too.
I
You
remember
don't
the
smell
day they kicked. You remember it was like New York was the first to say you couldn't smoke in a restaurant,
Yeah.
and then everybody started following suit.
Can you believe
that
we were
was-
kids going to restaurants where
It's
they could
people just
smoke?
smoking right
I remember
there.
this, Chris, crazy. You want smoking or non-smoking section? That was the first question the hostess would ask you.
And I went together. Remember Cracker Barrel? Like it was like the lattice, and you're like smoking.
The lattice.
It's like
Stop the
lattice
smoke.
with holes in it. It's like, all right, I'm gonna be here, but I feel like I'm still smoking right here.
I mean, that's insane. That,
It's like
that-
lattice.
I mean, you youngsters, I'm telling you, you youngsters out there, you don't
No
know.
idea.
People smoked in the
was
car.
saving your lungs.
Yeah,
windows
without
down.
you
My
She's
grandmother
knowing.
smoked in the car with us.
Your grandmother was a big
but
smoker.
She would crack the window about 1/8 of an inch to help
suck it out a
alleviate
little bit.
the smoke and not bother us in the back seat.
Make it cold.
The whole thing's got a yellow roof. It's terrible.
My
But she
dad,
smoked.
my dad smoked in the car.
I've
Dad,
ridden-
I love you. I know you're going to listen to this.
I've
but
ridden
I mean,
in
he
the car
would
with
do
your
the
dad
same thing.
smoking.
He'd crack it. There's a few times he flicked the butt out and come
Oh,
right
yeah.
back into the other window.
Oh, I've definitely got butt to the eye multiple times from that.
Yeah,
for
I've
sure.
had some ash come in the back seat before. Yeah, the
Right.
window down.
It's so bad.
That's happened when somebody hawks a loogie out the front window and the back window's rolled down. He goes.
I think I remember my
The
dad
boomerang.
getting mad though.
That's
I think I
happened.
remember my dad getting mad when they banned. There's New Yorkers. They're not doing. They better not do it here in Georgia. And then it's like, now what are you going to do, tough
Well,
guy?
yeah.
Where are you going to go now? I mean, they can't smoke in a restaurant at all.
Well,
I mean,
that's kind of what developed outdoor
Again,
seating.
Dad, I love
when
you.
Outdoor seating got really popular when it originally happened.
Yeah.
Right. Especially
Oh, that's
Florida
right.
already had
That's
a lot
right.
of outdoor
Yeah.
seating, but a lot of restaurants when they started new construction after
Right.
that ban,
Added the
they
patios
built
and-
patios.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So they could still accommodate.
Yep.
But it also did affect. I feel like smoking did drop significantly for some reason when it happened. I mean, maybe more people were vaping, but I don't know. I feel like less people smoke actual cigarettes.
I think so, too.
Again, I think that's just education.
Unless you go to
I think
Vegas.
generationally, it's changing a little bit. I do see young people doing it, and it's kind of been that cool factor, I guess. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like it's
But
not as-
it's and once you get it though, it's so, like I said, it's so addictive. It's so tough. But and I kind of want to move on because we could spend
we
some
can
time.
talk
I
about
do
this
want
right
to tell you though, my daughter at 18, what she was able to do is she got a nose ring. It's amazing. She got a nose ring, turned 18, and was like, okay, I'm going to go do this nose ring thing. And I literally thought she was not going to get it done.
so-
I was like, there's no way she was going to get that
She can
done.
chicken out. Huh?
Which I grew up with this girl, right? I mean, she's my daughter. I know her. And this cat could not take a shot.
She's not a fan of pain. Pain
as a
averse.
kid, we're talking about integrity today. I would have to lie to her on the way to doctor's office. She said, well, we going to get a shot today? Oh, no shots.
Why would they do that?
And if the doctor let it out that it was shot day, like, oh yeah, we're going to do the immunization shots or whatever, and those could be like 4. Whatever it is. And by the way, don't hate me, anti-vaxxers. We're not trying to be, crazy here. But at any rate, she got the shot and she would hyperventilate and throw up and all this stuff. And the doctors, we used to keep a trash can there. So I'd kind of just lie to her. I'd be like, no shots. No
Those are called
shots.
side effects.
Challenge my parents.
So it's funny you mentioned this, and I looked it up. 81% of hiring managers will look negatively at tattoos and piercings. So she's already got a job, though, right? We're good there.
She does have a job.
So
I mean, it's
when
not.
she goes down the road. Honestly, though,
She's not going to have it forever. She is going off to college.
So when she does go for a nice job interview, she might just need to pop that bad boy out.
I think that's getting a little bit better.
Definitely
What do you
getting
think?
better.
The nose thing's getting definitely
Much
it's a
right?
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Little-
mind. It
little
doesn't.
teeny
I don't
tiny.
think it. Yeah. would affect me on a hiring process, but
You know what's interesting is tattoos.
Depends on the field.
Tattoos. My son has a few tattoos, and they asked him, like, before they would put it on him, are you okay with it being exposed? Are you
permanent?
Because it's
that was a
they
question
won't
we had to ask.
I think a lot of guys wouldn't do face tattoos and things of that nature. So I mean,
strike one. Get a face tattoo.
I think that's probably percentages go up for employers.
I would agree.
Face tats are probably
It's still like not
limiting what you can
out
do.
there, but it's
I
still
know
like-
some people that have face tats.
It's true.
in the
Or the
music
neck
industry.
where you can see it over the shirt or whatnot.
I
true.
actually kind of like them.
You're gonna get one.
I don't.
Doesn't
I
bother
see
me.
in your future a neck tattoo.
I had 3 tiers I was gonna do.
I don't know. I don't know if you know what that means.
You got
Yeah,
next?
man.
Man, I don't know if you can pull that off.
Come on.
Dude,
Really?
Everybody that runs a sanitation department murders.
Yeah, you don't.
This is
You
this is
don't
all
know.
Soprano does, but
I
don't
know where the
Jason.
bodies are buried.
Yeah,
Wow,
in the back of the-
JB.
Wow.
They got
JB.
smushed in the compactor.
This is confession
Bodies are
time.
in the compactor.
Welcome to the confession.
All right, so you're welcome. But yeah, so we're on to our next game. We are going to play, and I'm excited about this one. So yes, new game.
What is new game?
New game. Here it is, the new game. It's time to play. What the hell do I know?
All right.
So, Joe, you're going to be on the hot seat.
Fantastic.
I've got some questions for you. We're going to try to rapid succession.
Do it.
Answer them as fast as you can. So,
No
short,
thinking.
firm,
Just shoot it out there,
just
Joe.
no thinking. First thing comes to your mind. You're going to answer these questions. We're going to start slow and go big. I'm going to put a timer on, and here we go. So, number 1, favorite sport you played.
Football.
If you had one last meal, what would it be?
Steak.
Your favorite family pet ever.
Peanut. The dog.
Hardest real estate transaction you've ever had.
Becker family home. It wasn't too bad.
If you could be a superhero, who would you be?
Superman.
That's easy.
Okay. At the end of life, they're creating your tombstone. What do you want it to say?
Loved hard, lived hard.
All right. Well done, Joe. You got it.
Pretty
Made it
good.
through. You didn't ask me Brandon's question, thankfully.
I got good ones.
Brandon's got some great
What you got, Brandon? Just pop a couple off.
I don't know.
You put
Just
in a lot of research into these
randos
questions,
here.
it looks like.
Do aliens exist? Where Gulf Breeze is the most alien sightings, I think, in the country.
Really?
Really?
Eglin Air Force Base.
It's close.
Duh.
Eglin's there.
Like Herbert
So
Field.
those that
literally
don't know,
lands.
we live in an area that there's
biggest
things
Air Force
flying
base,
over our
yeah.
houses every night.
We
I don't
saw
know.
what they're testing.
They drop
this
bombs
week.
right out the corner.
They drop bombs right there.
The Marines
So-
were testing the unmanned fighter pilot plane this week.
Really?
Yeah, so it looks like a F, 22 or whatever Raptor, but it's unmanned.
Wow.
So a lot of the memes
like
are
a
going
big
around
drone.
about the what's the movie Terminator? What's Skynet? They're like,
Skynet.
Skynet's here.
AI.
It's literally they got that. So yeah, that would make sense why Navarro would be.
No, it's Gulf Breeze is like
Or Gulf
the number
Breeze, yeah.
one sighting
Really?
for UFOs.
I would assume that would have been
Would've
out west.
known.
I feel like
Yeah.
it took
Yeah, Area
you,
51.
I feel
Yeah.
like it took you days to come up with that question.
I've known
So
that for a
thank you
while. That's
for
like a
minding
piece
that.
of intel. That
Oh wait,
it's like,
Joe, sorry.
I know.
Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, aliens. Yes or no?
No.
Around the room.
No, sorry.
I don't either.
No. There might
I
be
don't-
some life form outside of Earth, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Does that make it an alien?
Yeah.
Not real sure.
I'm unsure.
That makes
I
sense.
agree.
Aliens, actually.
We
Yeah,
kind of are.
maybe.
Yeah, we're technically
Yeah.
the aliens.
I'm an
Fair
AT
enough.
alien.
Man, I don't know where I went
I'm
with
an
that.
AT
Yeah.
alien.
Yeah.
Shout out Outcast.
Yes, sir.
For you.
The classic city.
From
Oh,
some
man,
of
I
you,
love some
you
Outkast.
midlife
I grew up on this
folks that
Andre
that listen to
3000?
this.
Yeah.
Oh man, those were
Man,
those were the days, right?
Good stuff.
That was a great one for sure. Well, Joe, listen, I want to tell us what's new with you though. You're here. You're on the hot seat. You
Yep.
just survived. What the hell do I know? Rapid questions. So tell us like what's going on.
Things are
with you?
good. Have a daughter actually having a birthday tomorrow.
Yes.
We celebrated it last year here.
We did. We celebrated together.
Celebrated
She
last
came
year,
down with her
yep.
friends. That was so much fun.
Yep. She's turning 22.
Okay.
That puts me up there. Yeah.
Now you can definitely buy cigarettes at 22.
Yeah, you
can.
can buy a lot of things.
But she's not buying cigarettes. Bob.
No, she's not a smoker, so no.
Sharp
She
girl.
does have a
Positive
nose
on
ring,
you.
though. She does have a nose
She
ring.
does have a nose
I
ring.
think she-
81% of employers are not going to like that.
My kid's
according to Juice's
I mean,
fat
the nose
toy.
My
rings-
16-year-old has a nose ring.
Yeah, I think she got it at
Really?
eight-
From
at
Vegas.
18. Yeah.
What happens in Vegas still comes
Doesn't
home.
always
Still
in
comes
Vegas.
home.
Yeah.
Still makes it back. Yeah, she
Nose
was-
rings and STDs.
They've been
They come
around
home.
for 4,000 years.
It was the nose ring.
Nose rings.
yeah, the Middle East 4,000 to
enough.
5,000 years ago.
Gosh, Jews were the
4,000 years ago.
Yeah, I looked it up. I was like, I want to know because I remember in the Spartan movie,
So
the dude
good.
had his piercings.
Yeah.
Like, that's old school right there. So I was like, how long have nose rings been around? 4 to 5,000 years.
Yeah, these kids think they're doing something new.
Yeah,
They're not.
doing
They're
that.
just redoing the
People
same
have been
thing.
doing- I
That's
know.
music nowadays. They just redo the
They
old
got
songs.
popular in America in the 60s with the hippie movement. But
Well, Solomon, in all of his wisdom, said there's nothing new under the sun. That was like 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, whatever it was in Proverbs. So, I mean, there's nothing new. Everything's going to come around and be repeated.
Yep.
But, and that's
Music,
okay.
clothes,
that's
fashion.
okay.
It's all right.
That's okay.
Yeah. Put your spin on it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, so she got the nose ring. She's down doing the birthday thing. She will graduate in May. She's doing an
that's
internship,
great.
so she
From-
will be a
from-
second alumni.
Can you tell? That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Can you tell me
University
where
of
she's
Georgia
graduating?
alum. Super proud of her.
Yes.
She will walk in May and hopefully have a
Nice.
full-time job in May.
Man, that
And-
deserves
UGA.
boy.
a big one.
congrats.
Yeah, really excited about that. Other daughter is at Mercer. She's a freshman. She's finding her way. She loves Mercer, Macon, Georgia. Shout out. It's not a bad drive for us home wise. So,
Yeah,
so
that's
get to see her a pretty good bit. She's actually down here as well on spring break.
That's right.
I came down here. My family's all here, but I'm not seeing them.
Where are they?
They're like 10 minutes. They're like 10 miles up the
Where
road.
are they?
They're all in different spots,
They're all
right?
in Santa Rosa County, which is like a million miles wide.
Well,
but
Santa
they're-
Rosa City.
Wait,
Or
wait,
City
wait.
County's Walton.
Okay,
Yeah.
Walton County. So
The
they're-
Santa Rosa County is where the UFOs are. That's Navarre.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Santa
it.
Rosa, that's Santa
Navarro
Rosa
Breeze.
County.
Santa Rosa
Yeah.
County.
That's right.
Yeah.
huge.
Navarre's right next to Gulf Breezes.
They're down here. It's college spring breaks. They're down here, sitting around kumbaya, and I'm sure they're having a good time.
Yeah.
I'll see them probably on the way out of town.
Lots of
No,
prayer.
yeah, you don't
lots
see
of prayer,
Dad on
prayer,
spring
prayer,
break.
prayer groups. Yeah, they're probably
knitting parties.
they're probably playing rapid fire type games.
Unfortunately, the weather looks horrible this week. coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, they won't get much sun, but
Yeah.
I'll have a good time. They're doing good. Business is good. We're rocking and rolling. This first part of the year is kind of always coming off winter. You wonder, is it going to recover?
Right.
The market's a little finicky with interest rates and things like that.
Does
But,
March really pick up usually?
yeah, March is moving time.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of that first part of spring.
Yeah.
You get plus the time change is a big deal.
Yeah.
When it gets dark, of course, it gets dark here at 5 something, I assume.
In the summertime, it's weird.
It's starting to get better.
It is.
The longer
Yeah.
days are better.
We've made the turn. All of us down here, we just turn into vampires, man.
Yeah,
you
we
just
do.
feel like you want to go to sleep. It's
sucks.
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I know it's so
Put your pajamas
bad.
on and
Sun sets
that's
at
bad.
5.
Yeah, it's
we're
worse
right on
here.
that
We're
line.
right on the line. The
right
time
on the
zone
date,
line.
the central.
Yeah,
time
people
zone
don't know
line.
Florida's Eastern and
And
Central
Central.
Yeah,
time,
that's right.
which is weird. Past, west of Tallahassee,
Yeah.
you're Central.
The
Yeah.
Georgia-Alabama state line basically running down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they did. I don't know if it's true, but there was a guy in politics one time told me they did this for the sugar company. Because they had employees that were working in this panhandle.
It was
That
a
makes
farming-
sense.
It was
It was kind
farming
of
based.
yeah, but they were essentially saying they felt like they got an hour back when they went home and they were working in these factories or whatever. They liked the ability for when they felt like so somebody lobbied to get
Yeah,
part
it
of
was
Florida on
a
the Central
farming
Time.
based. Well, in general, the whole fallback, spring forward, the whole general concept was based around farming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
True in
Yeah,
the
so-
Midwest as well.
Yeah.
Same in the Midwest.
But you're saying
Yeah, gotcha.
specifically,
I'm saying specifically
Florida,
to Florida. I think is what I heard the story that Florida at one point in time might have been all East Coast. I don't know if this is true.
It's
This
the
would have to
Chattahoochee
Google it.
Rivers where it's divided. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? It doesn't
I like
really
the
matter.
longer days, personally.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually like Central Time. I do feel like I get an extra hour.
Yeah,
I trick
well, when
myself
it gets
into
dark
it.
at
Yeah.
5,
But
that's
that's
the weirdest
the
part.
part I don't like.
Yeah.
That's
But the
part I
sun
don't
is up early. It's nice.
I guess I'm not. Not yet.
Juice doesn't get up that early.
Not yet.
Not that.
Juice has got a new
I got a
daughter. We're all
4-month-old.
girl dads.
Yeah.
But he's the newest girl dad.
I'm the
Yeah,
newest
you
girl
sure
dad.
are. That's crazy.
The old, like not the oldest one here, but almost. But I waited to 43 to have a child.
But you got the newest
long
girl.
time, but you do have a child, and
Do have a child?
she's beautiful baby. by the
Beautiful,
way.
yeah, Eliza.
She's beautiful.
Shout out to Eliza.
All right.
She'll hear this and like
Yeah.
probably
It'll already be
yeah,
defunct at that
yeah.
point. It's going to be
6 years
retro.
old. She'll hear this.
Shout out to Theorem. Nice wine.
it's
Great wine,
Very
right?
good.
Yeah,
I'm not a
that's
big
so
red
good.
wine guy either. This is
This
really
is
smooth.
tasty.
I'm more of a
There's a difference with really good wine, by the way.
Really
so again,
good
shout out to Theorem. I agree. When you find that bottle you like,
Yeah.
you don't realize that you've not been drinking good wine, and that's why I like these family boutique wines because they're giving you the best of their grapes. grapes. They what their harvest was, and they're putting in there. You know, a lot of times when you get into the stores, you know, those are blended grapes that have come from, you know, maybe farmer. And look, again, still good stuff. If you like it, drink it. But it's just there's a difference. You know, there's a real difference in that small batched family type vineyards, and that's why I think I like Napa. It's not just about the wine; it's these local businesses and these families that are, you know, generational. Some of them. This is first generation, but it is really neat. I mean, honestly, it is a town of farmers, and they are just salt of the earth people. I mean, I think it's the people there is what I love.
I can't get grapes to grow in my yard. It's hard, man.
But we live in sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still. There's the Phoenix.
Sugar here.
Yeah, there's a vineyard. There's a vineyard.
I had grapes the first year come off, but not the second.
I think there's a winery in every state in our union.
Yeah,
there's a
I'm sure there is.
winery in every state.
I mean, don't ask me why I love wine. I have my Rieslings.
Nice.
He's definitely a girl dad.
It's my dad.
Oh, you have that.
Here's your girl dad joke. That's
Saving
great.
that one. I like it.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's been sitting on that one for a while. That was so good.
We brought the wine back in. Where are we at?
No.
You're listening to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB with ADHD. Elemental B. Anyway, back to the show.
So this is about a show on integrity. We're talking a lot of topics. Like I said, we get off it. We veer off schedule a lot. I think it's the ADD, you know, whatever it is. But we really appreciate the listeners out there again. So thank you so much for tuning in. But we are talking about integrity. So I want to kind of pull us in. Joe, I was talking to you the other day about this, and listing appointments are so important. But I've heard it said before that integrity, you've got to have integrity in numbers.
Sure.
Like, you know, people need to have integrity. You got to have integrity, but like the numbers have to like mean something.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, when you're going on a listing, how do you make sure that people understand what you're telling them? Because you know, there's people that'll show up and tell you the house is worth $1 million or whatever to get
the listing.
You know, to get the listing, right? Yeah. But you know, in all actuality, it's going to sell closer to like, you know, 9 or maybe the house is worth 500,000, and you've got a guy that comes in and says, well, I can sell for 525. You know, how do you explain to people that?
Yeah, great point, and it's, you know, very common. Of course, seller always thinks their property's worth more than what it might be.
Sure.
Most common, you know. And you go in and you have to show them the facts of, hey, look, this is what it's worth, you know. And it doesn't mean somebody's not willing to pay that, but at the end of the day, if you come in there and you just tell them what they want to hear, you're doing a disservice.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want the business, but it's not worth the business if you're doing it the wrong way.
Right.
And that's what ends up happening quite frequently is you're so excited about the opportunity to get the business, and you get excited because the person is holding the keys to your business and going, here's what I want. And the quick answer is, okay. As opposed to saying, well, here's why it's worth this. And so you do have to have integrity in your numbers because quite frankly, it's going to be a problem down the road if you don't.
I mean, you're going to come back, you're going to ask for price reduction.
You're going to log in.
It's got to be a tough market too, because the price point means so much, at least in my experience. And I've had the unfortunate opportunity to sell homes in terrible markets, and then I've got the fortunate opportunity, you know, if you go back the last 10 years prior to, you know, a year or two ago, it was an incredible market. So heck, I probably didn't even need you in half the ones I've done.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, like since COVID, holy crap, has shot through the roof here.
Well, but then it's really slowed down.
Yeah.
And so I think that's right. Nailing the price, I think right now is like, it's kind of convincing, or at least being able to impress upon your client that the price point out the gate probably means more today than it has ever meant.
Absolutely does, which is why, you know, you can all get on the big Z and look at his estimate, and we all have an idea what we think it might be worth. But in most cases, coming in and actually evaluating the home and telling them the truth, not what they want to hear, it means the world.
Well, the guy that did Zestimate, didn't he sell his house for less money than
like
what his Zestimate said?
Off.
I mean, Zillow or whatever.
Yeah, and you're talking
13% off of whatever Zillow's Zestimate said,
which is real dollars.
Yeah,
you know, these people are, in most cases, if it's a home, if it's residential real estate, they're invested, and they know their kids grew up. They have a different sense of what it's worth, and
there's an emotional value to it as well. Yeah,
exactly. So, but I do think it's important. Same reason why, if it's an investment property, you can't come in and say the numbers are this. exist if
Yeah.
they're not. It's like telling somebody that you're going to have 100%, occupancy. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
No, there's not.
You're going to have an air conditioning break. You're going to have things that happen in the course of a.
I had 2 air conditioners this week. Are you telling? You know how much an air conditioner costs now? Sorry, not to get on inflation, but holy cow!
Yeah.
It is more than a car. It is incredible what an air conditioner costs. Had to fix 2 this week, brand new at the buildings. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
especially
you
those-
never do.
It's a
Yeah.
big
Didn't see
expense,
that
yeah.
coming.
No.
Yeah.
Well, and if you try to tell someone that and go, hey, you ought to rent this property or you ought to, whatever, you have to, label out those costs sometimes and tell people the truth. This is what
That's
it's
right.
going to cost you.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I think it's important when you're listing properties like you asked, specifically.
For sure.
Get that price right.
Right now,
For sure.
more than ever. You're right, because it is if people want to sell their house, they got to listen to the agent.
Yeah.
Because the agent does a ton of work behind the scenes you don't see getting that number. There's a lot that goes into your profession.
Well, it's also a
of
disservice.
finding that number.
It's a disservice to you as an agent if you're not hitting the price right.
That's right.
You're
Correct?
exactly
Because it's your business. Like
You're
you're
gonna
an
spend
independent
your-
contractor.
your
You're gonna
money,
spend
your time, your
money,
effort.
your effort.
And it's not going to
So,
sell. And you're
so
going to have
really
to.
going to waste a lot
And you
of
don't
it.
get paid until the
that's
deal is
exactly
No,
done.
right.
so you're footing
Yeah.
a bill for photography,
Everything.
videos, any
Yeah.
marketing material. Yeah, you
Yep.
got to pay that.
Not just that, but you're also going to have a conversation every few days about why you overpriced this home.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then a good real estate agent, which in most transactions there's 2, someone representing a buyer, pretty quickly they'll identify this isn't worth this, or it's
Right.
not going to appraise, or it's not going to, the value's not there.
I'm going to blame you.
Yeah, well, and then of course the appraiser will ask you too, where did you come up with this?
Where'd you come up with this?
Yeah,
price?
I mean, and if you don't have some facts, then,
Yeah.
you just,
And a lot of people trying to get listings, like especially new realtors, they'll I'll do whatever you want.
that's exactly right. Because you just want your sign.
Yeah, they just want to get the listing so they can get their cut. They don't care if they sell it or not, right?
It's a short-term
So-
strategy, yeah.
It is.
It's not a long-term business strategy.
Exactly. And it typically doesn't work out.
Nope.
That's what I have honesty written down by integrity. So
Yeah.
you got to be honest with them. That's one of the main factors.
And
For
most people
sure.
want to hear that when they invite you into their home. They want to hear your opinion because they are expecting that you know something about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So when you come in and tell them the truth, it makes a world of difference. Same reason why you don't come in there and tell somebody, because people always say, "Hey, if I remodel my kitchen, will it help my house sell?" Well, of course, yeah,
Duh.
it'll be new and nice looking, and
Right.
people will like that.
Right.
But I can't sit there and tell you to spend $75,000 remodeling your kitchen.
Are you going to get that back?
Nah,
Maybe not.
maybe,
Maybe.
not.
Depends on the economy.
Depends on what you do to it.
The
Right.
comparables.
Yeah.
There's so many things, but you need somebody that can give you that advice, knows the economy you're in, knows the market you're in, and can leverage that. When you're dealing with a new agent, maybe, and we've talked about this before too, but when you're dealing with a new agent, how do you express to them, and really I throw this out to everybody because, all of us have worked with people or know people, or maybe young people, or we've led different businesses, our own businesses. When you have that new person or new employee, how do you get them to be, especially in a sales world like real estate, how do you get them to be authentic in who they are? So have integrity in who they are, because you want to be known. A good name means something, right?
Absolutely.
And so you want to be known that.
Oh, you got your name.
Yeah. What's funny is Jackson, when he first started driving, he was 15, driving. I've now trained 3 people. I've got my 3rd one driving. So I've trained 3 humans to eat and 3
Didn't your daughter
humans to
back
talk.
the car into the garage or something like recently?
Look, she did not do
Okay.
that. She did back a golf cart though one time into the garage. But I've got them 3 of them trained as drivers, which is a crazy thing.
Accomplishment.
Look, and congrats to all you parents that have done it as well, because every time I step back into it, my nerves get shot again.
It
and again.
is really
I'm
rough.
now on the 3rd one. She'll be 16 coming up soon, and when she started at 15, I immediately I was
Tense up, yeah.
And I'm like, I should be a pro at this. This is my 3rd one
Man.
doing it, but it gets you every
We pray
time.
every
right?
time they leave the driveway. We pray, watch out for this kid.
Bring them back safe.
Bring him back safe.
So
home.
Jackson, though, 15, you don't realize he's the first one I trained. So I had to teach him how to get gas. I didn't think about it, just being able to pull up and get gas. And then there was this time we wanted to pull into Chick-fil-A, and I was like, hey, we're going to order chicken, number 1, whatever. That's my number 1 extra pickles, So I love Chick-fil-A, super good food, but we're pulling into the drive-thru. They come on, but he stops. He stops before we get to the speaker. Because this is back when they didn't have the people
board,
coming out, and all. So
the iPads.
So we pull up to
Pre-COVID.
but he stops because I didn't realize he had never been trained to go through drive. He didn't know what to do, and so he all of a sudden gets nervous. Like, I need to write the orders down. I need to get it all right. We pull up to the now again. He obviously, I hope he doesn't do that continually now. I mean, I'm sure he's pro at drive-thrus. We pull up to the drive-thru, and he's 15. He's got that his voice still kind of changing, so he's talking a little higher, and he gets to the drive-thru, and they're like, hey, welcome to Chick-fil-A. Next thing you know, he's like, oh yes, I would like to order. And I'm like, who's Barry Manilow?
DJ
Show up?
40-year-old son.
Straight into radio voice, and I'm just so. But you've got to be authentic, right?
Yeah.
You want to be your authentic yourself. And I get it. Jackson, I think, was trying to sound like an adult and, whatnot. But you got to be your authentic self. So how do you, what do you say to a new person in business? Maybe a new agent, but
just in
young people out there today.
Well, I think people see through it pretty quick. If you come in and you tell, again, back to what I said about telling people what they want to hear, they know, and especially, let's call it real estate, but in most cases you're dealing with a homeowner. It's usually not somebody who it's their first rodeo. They own a home. So they've been through this process before at some point. Now they might remember it, or they may be older than you or whatever the case. But I think it's, to new people, you're so excited about the opportunity for the business that you want to connect. And I think, connecting is super important with the person, which is why you spend time. Because some people go in there with their mission at, I need to get this paperwork signed. That means I have business. I'm going to be able to, sell this house one day and make a commission and move on down the road. I kind of take the opposite approach. I have a long listing of conversations. It's awkward because when I come in, we usually end up having a conversation less about, the house, but more about the process and things like that. Right. And that's what I encourage the young people or new agents to do is, meet the people. The people are the thing, not the lead. It's not a piece of paper. It's a person. And if you go in and you can make a connection, and sometimes you don't. At the end of the day, they might not be interested in that. They're strictly business, or they're very set on what they're doing, and they're going to interview 3 agents, and that can be intimidating. Because you think, I just need to be better than the next one. Well, it's not always the case. You just need to connect.
Well, you're never, and the other thing too is we were just saying this earlier today, that time, it takes time. I used to think it was actually it is physically time, but it's what you do during that time that makes you better. Day one, you're never going to be great at whatever you're doing today, right? Whoever it is out there, young people, day one, I've got a son that's about to enter into the workforce, and I know other young kids out there, if you're listening to this, day one, you're never going to be great, but just keep at it. The ones that give up are the ones that lose, right? Yeah. Just keep at it, because every day you get better. Year one in whatever profession you are, you're probably going to be dead weight to a degree.
Yeah.
But you sure do learn a lot that first year.
And then
you learn more.
And then what you get up here is better than
and then you
here.
keep applying and you keep tweaking and you keep trying and you keep working it. And then eventually you start figuring out a formula. And then guess what? That's going to change too, right?
Yeah.
That's
you got to fail a lot
too.
to get successful,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, most
you
people
fail
are
a lot.
Yeah, they're not going to be
You learn
successful.
more from failures than you ever do successes. 100%.
Had a rookie agent this week go in for his first listing appointment.
Yeah.
Told you a little bit about the story. He goes in, he's super excited. He called me a couple times. What I say? And I said, well, go in and meet the people and connect. And we talked through some more specifics, but most importantly, he goes in and he has the conversation. It's a family friend. He thinks this is the first ticket to a listing in real business.
I'm in, baby.
I'm in. So he goes to breakfast and he's excited, and obviously wasn't there, so I don't know the entire conversation. But he calls me on the way down here, and he says, I didn't get it. And I could hear I could hear it in his voice. And he's
the disappointment.
And he said, how am I going to get business if my family friends won't even do? I said, hold on. I said,
what'd you learn?
Yeah. And I said, I said.
Great advice.
After the conversation with him, I think he realized, and he said, you know what? And he was immediately ready to get back on the horse, which I liked. He said, I'm going to sign up for this program you told me about, and I'm going to do this. I said, yeah.
Stay with it, young man. Stay with it.
And I could hear it in his voice, and I hated it for him. But I got off the phone, I was talking to my wife, and we both said, he learned more in that.
That's right.
100%.
Because had the person gone, yeah, you're my friend, list the house for me, go make some money. I'll buy a house with you too. Hell, I mean, that's what he would have.
Yeah.
He would have probably not learned near what he learned in this, because he learned rejection.
But that's so good. We don't get to success without going through some bumps and some failures. And the failures are always in our society looked down upon. But those are the stepping stones you use to learn. How do you learn anything if you win every
He will remember that appointment the rest of his life.
Right?
Everybody wants to see a train crash.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to see.
Rubbernecking.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everybody wants to see your failures. Everybody's going to be excited when something bad happens for you. It's ridiculous. You know, the haters are real. They've been around before Facebook and Instagram and TikTok or whatever. People are going to hate.
Yeah.
And we revel sometimes in other people's misery, which I think we got to shake that off. But don't stop, right? That's learn. Yeah.
That's it. Don't stop.
Don't stop. Revel in your own, right? Misery. Like figure it out. Like take it, the trial, the tribulation, whatever it is you're going through, and then use that. I mean, to fuel you, you get better.
That's the best part. Well, growing your business from the ground up. Yeah, you get a lot of rejection, but that's the best part, honestly. That's what makes it, when you are successful at the end, that's the part you remember the most.
100%.
Was the grind to get there.
The journey.
The journey to get
What did I learn along the way?
Yes, that's the
But
most.
that's what-
You remember that more than anything
do.
else.
That's what
The money-
shapes you.
the money will come.
Yeah.
Business is almost like a creek, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when creeks are running through, all water's always finding finds that path of least resistance.
Yeah, you got to be sincere.
And you've got to do that in business.
You do.
You know, if customers are turning you this way, you know, if people don't like you showing up in a T-shirt, show up in a
Change.
suit.
Yeah.
If, you know, if,
You learn quick.
whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But I think you're right. It starts with integrity. It's know what you're doing when you're walking in there, and it's okay if you don't get the business. You did it the best you could then, and then adapt. But
Yeah, adaptation, that's the key.
that's it. You don't have to be anybody you're not. You just learn along the way.
Well, you know, after COVID, everybody used the word pivot because everybody's business changed. You know,
Yeah.
all these restaurants all of a sudden had to go to deliveries and ordering, and you hear people in business talk about that time frame, and they go, "We had to pivot." And the successful
By the way,
ones,
I only think about the Friends episode Pivot when they're in the couch and it's like pivot.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking
about.
But realistically, everybody had to pivot during that time. We all did business differently. I remember,
did.
you know, if I was actually showing, I mean, we were all doing virtual tour. I mean, think about what happened during the last 4 years, 20 to
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Business is
how
different.
it changed, and businesses had to pivot or they didn't survive.
Right.
Same thing with people.
Right.
You know, real estate agents, you know, prospered pretty quickly because the market went
Sure.
haywire and crazy, and you
Yeah.
could just, you know,
List a home.
Yeah, I mean, it was
gone.
you were fighting multiple. You know, it was fun. We all took advantage of that. We should.
Great to be an agent.
Great to be an agent at the
Yeah.
time. Well, guess what happened the last 2 years?
That's right.
I mean, you got to work.
Comes back to earth.
Yeah, they're all out getting jobs, you know, and taking pictures of their feet and doing things they can do to earn money.
My wife took about that all the time, dude.
Yeah,
That's a real thing?
that's a real thing.
I mean, you're telling me that's a real thing.
I mean, I hear it is.
OnlyFans, or what is it? Is it OnlyFans?
I don't
We do
know
the
this
feet
stuff.
stuff.
There's a foot thing out
Oh, it's
there.
a foot fetish. It's a running joke.
Yeah, you just,
But it's a real, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know.
people are
who
earning
would
money the
want-
weirdest
yeah.
ways these days.
That's crazy.
I got to look at my feet closer and see if I got any game.
Yeah, I'm not a feet.
I don't think
I don't think I got any
No.
game.
No, I don't.
Nothing makes sense for me.
I'm not going to look at them. I don't.
My foot game
I
is
don't like
not
feet.
good.
All right, so listen, now it is time to play a new game, a new game. So double new today.
Double
with
new
introducing
game. Okay.
new games. This one is kind of comes from, we won't play this often because it's kind of a one-trick pony. But this comes from a dinner discussion with my youngest daughter who does not know what she wants to do in life. And so every time I ask her, I'm always asking her, what do you want to do in life? What do you want to do in life?
She wants to get piercings.
She doesn't know. No, this is my youngest. Although she might
Oh,
get
yeah, your
piercings
youngest.
too.
Yeah, the
But-
18. Okay.
But I'm always asking, she just doesn't know. And so I've thrown out all these different things. What do you want to study in school? She's getting closer to that, end of high school era. And
Can make
so
some decisions.
pressing
She's a
her
junior
into
in
that.
high school, right?
She'll be upcoming. She's a rising, I guess, sophomore is what they say. So she'll be a junior next year. So
Well, yeah,
she's a
that's how it
sophomore.
works. They
Yeah.
have sophomore then junior.
You got
is,
sophomore,
thank you.
junior.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
third
okay.
one you think I'd get it by now, right? But at any rate, so she's got it. So I told her the other day that I wanted to know, or I said you could be a UFC wrestler or a fighter, UFC fighter, and she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I mean,
Whatever you
they're
wanna
good.
do.
I love watching the women fight. It's so good. And I said, you could just be a UFC wrestler, and she's like, Dad, I'm not going to be a UFC wrestler. But I said, your name could be, and I thought this would be a great name. I said, your name could be Jason's daughter. Like, I think that'd be really cool, right? She comes out and be like, Jason's daughter.
That's
You know,
super
you hear it
original.
roar, from,
That's creative.
Here from Santa Rosa Beach. From the
mean
fighter,
streets of the
hailing
beach.
from the mean
UFO
streets of the
capital of the
beach.
world.
Jason's daughter.
I don't know.
She was knocked out the other day from pollen, dude, and you want her to be a fighter?
That pollen's strong. You see that?
All y'all's kids.
It's like
are
she's
knocked
a
out.
half inch of green fuzz on everything.
That girl's a fighter. I'm telling you, she's a fighter, and she's gonna fight her way. So here's the game: if you were a UFC fighter, what would your name be?
First of all, I'm not getting in the ring because those guys are crazy.
I want to say something like Menace or something like Jason the Menace.
Man, I don't know.
I don't know. What would you be?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I never thought of that.
I stumped you.
UFC fighter.
UFC fighter Chan Ballsy.
Champ balls. There it is. We're still middle schoolers.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Why is my brain so childish sometimes? I don't understand.
I don't either, man. It's crazy.
But by the way, Theorem Wine is really good.
Warning.
Now for a
There's
word
your
of
warning.
Warning. Unpopular opinion.
I think I'm the king of those.
Yeah.
You've got him for sure, man. That's so great.
He's consistent, though. I like
He is consistent. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the quote of the day by Tay Tay.
All right.
Take.
She said, "My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me." From her song "Delicate," actually works out pretty good for this one. This was probably around that Kanye West. You remember that one?
Yeah.
When he walked up on stage, honestly, he really did her dirty. As a girl dad,
That's bad.
he did her dirty. I mean, he walked up on stage and just, and
The whole walking on
but he was
stage thing,
defending another
it doesn't
female.
work out.
Yeah,
Will Smith, it didn't work out.
Yeah,
Don't walk up on stage. I don't think that helps you.
If that had been a man on stage,
He would have got slapped, dude.
he would never
Yes.
have walked up stage and grabbed the mic and taken the moment away because
Never.
it was like an 18, she was
She
really
was young
Yeah,
at
it
the
was
time.
terrible.
17, 18-year-old
Yeah.
girl.
I remember that.
He totally took advantage of her.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know if he's fully adequately apologized for that, but it was like,
I think
that
that's
would
still
never
going
happen
on.
to a dude.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that
I mean,
feud
Chris
is still
Rock,
going on.
Got slapped by Will Smith.
He did. Well, you know what? He
but
did
he didn't
get
take a word from her. Yeah.
But he didn't. I mean, but that, and by the way, they really went hard on him. And people did go hard on Kanye, but it's weird. Like that whole thing
It was awkward.
Bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Well, and she's done okay for herself since.
Yes. I mean, look, she's
Yeah.
continuing to put out great music.
She just won a Super Bowl, yeah.
She just won a Super Bowl.
She won a
That's
Super
right.
Bowl.
She won a Super Bowl all by herself.
That's incredible.
All right. So here we come into my favorite time, though.
Juice, oh juice, where are you? We're waiting patiently for what you do.
Oh, man.
The guru, he'll make it right. In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, Juice. It's the Delve card. Again, parents, tip, 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 tip. Here it is. Use these Delve cards. It's called Ready to Take the Plunge. You can find them online. They're great, great dinner table discussions with your kids.
They really are.
So, here we go.
What was your biggest ever waste of money?
Oh, God. Oh, no. I have to. Do you have a minute?
Biggest waste of money.
Oh, man. What is my biggest waste of money? I mean, unfortunately, there's been a lot. I mean, I've known.
Maybe we should just go guilty pleasure type of waste of money.
Well,
Or
but
you want to.
I will tell you a story. My father-in-law, when he back when they had the QVC like late night stuff, he was a late night shopper. I guess they still have it.
Yeah, they do.
on
They do.
cable, I guess. But they got a whole channel.
They
now.
got, like,
they got a whole
multiple
channel.
channels.
Oh, there's multiple.
There's, like,
There's still people
multiple
buying. There's still people buying every night.
See, I'm not doing it.
Christmas
I don't
time,
do
I
that
get
much.
it. Black Friday, I go in there. And
Good for you,
my
Juice.
nieces
Do you
and
go
stuff.
online or do you
watch it on TV?
them
No,
on
I watched it on TV and bought one, and it was a karaoke microphone I bought for my nieces, and I was laughing the whole time. I was like, my sister's gonna freaking hate this. So now they run around the house singing, and it's got like the T-Pain voice.
do they love it?
Oh, they love it. It's
that's
got multiple
great.
voices and
I've
stuff.
seen those.
It's
Lights
so great.
up. They're really cool. They're like $30. There's not, so I bought 2 of them. So yeah, I actually do.
QVC.
Some online
Yeah,
QVC.
we'll sit on there and watch it, dude. It's
My
hilarious.
father-in-law used to buy stuff all the time. So waste of money, he bought a Floby.
Oh,
So my father,
Those are-
that's the
Does
thing.
the hair
You got-
thing, right?
It was a
you hook
vacuum
it up
for
to
your
a vacuum
hair.
cleaner,
What?
and
That
it
would
would
cut
suck
your-
it
Kinda
and cut your
trims,
hair. You
yeah.
could
Suck
you
your
put on
hair
different
right out.
levels.
See
You
that?
do your own. You give yourself your own haircut through a vacuum.
But those actually made a market.
I would say that
with
was a
dogs.
big-
They came
Yeah.
back with like dog
Did they?
groomers.
Yeah,
Really?
dog groomers, yeah.
'Cause the dog groomers didn't have all the hair flying around. They could use the Floby, just suck the hair
Oh
right
my
off them
gosh,
things.
that's hilarious.
Globy.
Floby. So that would be, that's not my biggest waste of money. That'd certainly be his.
Yes,
but-
online shopping like that. Yeah. I mean, mine's electronics because I just buy so much stuff for work. And like in 6 months, it's something new, better is out. So like I have all this stuff sitting around in my room of like old cameras. I'm like, I should have sold these, when they went out of style. Now I got them 5 years later, and now I can't do nothing.
And now they're really out of style.
Now they're vintage.
The technology doesn't even work.
Vintage.
Yeah, so I have a ton of that. So I'd say electronics for me.
Old cameras. There's this one guy, and I don't know how I know him through somebody, but I think he does these wedding. I've seen his stuff online. It's really good. If I found him, I'll post it onto the pod or whatever. But he takes all these old cameras, and shoots them in a vintage way, and it gives this unique look to your videography and stuff like that.
A grainy look.
That's cool. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, they're just a millimeter film, so it's where you do the old black rolls. So they have to take them to CVS, do the hour drop off, so they could develop.
Do they still do that?
They still do that.
Do they really?
I mean, maybe, I don't know. They got
they do.
You can still buy the cameras, the travel cameras.
They take them to CVS, and then they take them.
So it's like the millimeter roll. So they have those vintage cameras. Remember, you couldn't let sunlight hit them, so you'd have to take them out of the case, pop them in.
Yeah,
all that.
That's right.
The kids don't understand that we, old, but we talk about having to wait for pictures. Mm-hmm. Now you take a picture and you don't like it, you edit it, you do whatever you want to with it. But the kids didn't understand that. So when they had these disposable cameras and they're waiting, they're like,
Juice and I were talking about editing the last show. Yeah. And we were talking about CLM, and he was like, "Oh, we should have some old photos or something from that time." I was like, "I don't have anything from that era.
They're not on Facebook."
Right. And when they weren't on a phone, you didn't have a camera in your pocket like you do now everywhere you go.
Yeah, like I'd have to ask my parents for pictures of me as a kid. Unless at some point I got them and scan. You got to scan them in now. That's the thing is
they're in an album. Remember,
there's a lot of companies that do that
book,
now.
You remember you didn't even know what you shot until you opened up the package.
Yeah.
You just clicked it, but you don't know what was in that background or the lighting.
It was like Christmas.
Like, all right,
You're like,
good.
I'm about to get 24 pictures and I don't know what's on.
I have no idea.
I forgot everything
and
I
I'm
did.
paying for them ahead of time. You don't get to decide.
You
get the whole pack.
That's right.
And you just give what you get.
And you had to get doubles.
Yeah.
Because you had to give
pass out
if your
the
friend or whatever. Yeah.
So back to our topic of the day.
How much you spend money on.
The transition right on back from things you don't like to spend money on or waste of money. There's a lot to do with when I think about Taylor Swift's quote where she says, "My reputation's never been worse." First podcast, Chief?
No, your Taylor Swift quotes are driving me crazy. Reference Taylor Swift quotes.
I love Taylor Swift.
She's slightly successful.
She's slightly successful.
Can we get her on?
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to her agent. In fact,
some people in
that.
we're going to pitch this out there. Anyone that has an in for Taylor Swift, she has an open seat for our podcast. Any day.
Yeah, we kick Brandon off.
I'll leave. I'll stand over there.
Here, if she makes it work, we'll make it work. End of story. That'd be great. But when I think about her quote and reputation, it makes me think about different people in my life that I think had some influences. I mean, obviously I go to like my mother who used to tell me the best. She would say, never the wrong time to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. It's never the wrong time to do the right thing. I mean, I think in your life, I think that's pretty good. The other thing she would say is just let your word be your word. She used to get so frustrated when, you'd be like, I swear, I promise. She's like, no. Just if you say you're going to do it, just do it.
Yes.
Just do it. I don't need you to swear you'll do it. I don't need you to promise you do it. Just let your word be your word.
Yeah,
I think that's also really good. And then I also think to Larry Lawrence, our old youth leader, and Joe and I growing up in church together used to say the best example of a changed life is a changed life.
Yeah. That's true.
As a kid, it went right over my head. I was like, I don't know what he means.
Now it resonates.
Now it resonates. You're like, that's...
You think about the CLM days too, though. We used to have, you'd have an issue with garbage collection and stuff, and so we tell people, do what you say. If you say you're going to go by and pick up the garbage, go by. It sounds so simple. Or if you're going to go back, or whatever it was. But we were always having to coach the guys or if you promise something, follow up. You remember we used to write down.
Yeah.
God, remember we used to check the trucks every single night for this certain thing, and we would say, I'd call the head mechanic, go, did you check it? And he knew I was going to call, and he'd call. I mean, he knew I was calling, and he'd do what he said every time.
Right.
Because ultimately, that's what ended up happening is if you don't do those things, I would lose confidence in them. And I'd go, you didn't check that.
Well, it's accountability, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of
We all want that in our life.
Yeah, you got to have some accountability in life, and you've got to hold people to it. I mean, those were the days for sure. But I mean, doing what I found too in business though is that if you do something, so obviously our job was people would hire us to pick up your trash once a week from their curb. Occasionally, though, people would leave their house at the can at the house, or they might put extra stuff outside the can, and that wasn't the agreement. You put stuff in your can, we would dump it, and all that. But you do it. You do it because if they left it at the house, there were guys that would run up to the house and get it. They, if there were extra trash, they would just take the extra trash because it's the customer, and you just want it to be right, and you don't need the phone call, and you don't need the headache. But what I found though is the moment you don't do that extra stuff, that's when the phone call comes.
Yes.
So in business, like if you're doing something extra, that becomes the norm.
It is.
So you better just do it. It is now part of your business.
Yeah, they expect it.
The expectations, you've got to meet them, and whatever they are, you have to meet those expectations. So you might think in your head, but that wasn't the agreement. Well, they've already moved the goalpost on you, and you better you better kick it through it because they're going to go.
Yeah, if you're questioning whether you should do something or not, you just do it.
Yeah,
I mean, because you can't be wrong if you do it, but if you don't do it, there's a 50% chance.
But if you do it one time, you're going to end up doing it every time.
But that's when you got to reach out and
have that conversation. Sometimes you have to have the conversation with the customer. For sure.
Yeah, you have to have communication. That is key.
But growing up though, a lot of great influence. Did you guys have any influences that modeled like integrity in your life that stick out for you?
Oh, absolutely. I think my parents were entrepreneurs. They were hard workers. Their yes was yes.
From Indiana too,
no.
huh?
Midwest is like that. And you see that a lot down here in the Emerald Coast. It's the same kind of folks. It's you let your yes be yes and your no be no. And it goes a long way towards lasting relationships. It's hard to trust somebody if you know they've already lied to you in the first meeting with you or they felt shady. But relationships are the key to everything in life. We are relationship beings. And money comes, learning comes, all that comes from learning how to work with people. And they're all different. Everybody's different. But I think integrity is a constant. Regardless of if you're introverted or extroverted, if you're a go-getter, you're not, it doesn't matter. Integrity is the constant. Yeah. And that's the constant in relationships.
It's really important. What do so I was cleaning up, you guys coming over here, and I've taken some trash out, and I felt the bag like want to give, and I was like, I'm never buying this brand again.
Yeah.
I just gave out.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah, picking it up, and you're just like, this is ridiculous, right? I'm never buying this cheap, off-brand garbage bag. When trust gets broken, can it be restored?
It can, but it's tough.
It probably depends on how it was broken, what, how hardcore, like whatever the example is.
And your level of grace personally.
Yeah, it's
a two-way street.
It's a
two-way street, for sure.
It's a lot of variance. It can be, and if it's not, I agree. There's certain ones that are unfixable, obviously.
Well, and there's some
marriage
things
or something.
Well,
obviously.
Here's the thing: if you've done the wrong to somebody, it is up to them whether they have forgiveness to you. And sometimes they have forgiveness, they just don't want to go down the road anymore.
They don't have forgetfulness.
But it's outside of your choice then, right? I mean, there's consequences in it, and it's unfortunate. You try to clean up your side of the street, apologize, fix it, move on, and then hopefully can build trust back. So it can be, but you're right, it takes two, right?
Yeah, it's probably a lot of work, Yeah.
When I ran my sales teams in pharmaceuticals, I learned this from my mentor. It's you set high expectations right out of the gate.
Yep.
But if you lie, cheat, or steal, you broke my trust.
Right.
And I can't trust you after that. So you're off the team. So that's the expectation.
Okay.
Everything else we can work through. Whatever problem you got, come to me.
Sure.
We'll figure it out.
Sure.
All business, we can find more business. If you lose that, no big deal. But if you lie, cheat, or steal, then I can't have you on my team.
Right.
So I think
good.
Integrity.
That's really good.
And that's out of the gate.
S. Truett Cathy, though, is another guy that stands out for me. He was our 8th grade Sunday school teacher.
Sure was.
By the way, I mean, leading up to when we grew up in this church, you start realizing in 6th, 7th grade that you're coming into like Truett's Sunday school class. It's like a rite of passage for an 8th grader at the church at that time, obviously when he was alive. And you hear these stories because he would take them to his ranch and these 4-wheelers and all these things you might get to go and do and hang out with it. But for whatever reason, I felt like we were the bad 8th grade class.
You were
We were the first one not invited to the ranch.
Every Sunday, but we were like the first one not invited.
We broke it.
He probably went back to it the next year.
Yeah.
That was
He
me
had
too.
some great
like
guest
COVID year.
speakers that would come in and talk to you. And we're talking like, by the way, you may be thinking in your mind that it's S. Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, and he has, hundreds of kids that are now in his Sunday school class and have built this special auditorium for. I am talking a cinder block, like old feed store, small room, 20 of us maybe.
Yeah.
Is that where
Maybe.
Truett University comes from? Isn't there a Truett University?
No, it's Truett McConnell,
No, that's Truett
but that's
McConnell.
a different. That is a
Okay.
different.
Not sure there's any connection.
Yeah,
Because that's
I
a
don't think there's any
Christian
connection.
college.
It is, but I don't
Okay.
think it's connected to
Gotcha.
him. I'm
Yeah.
not saying they didn't maybe donate to that
yeah.
or whatever, but I don't believe it has any association with him. And Truett being his first name, I think Truett.
Oh, that's his first
McConnell
name.
might be
Gotcha.
maybe a
Combo.
of some last names is what I'm guessing, but. That'd be a good Google. I think there's probably some listeners out there that have kids or
At least a
something. that
bot
go to
somewhere
Truett
they can
McConnell.
figure
You
that
can,
out,
you
yeah.
can
Well,
comment
yeah,
and tell us. Comment
cousin.
underneath there and tell us where Truett McConnell came from. You subscribers, all you. I don't know what we call the people that listen to this. You've got to have a name. Or what the hell do I know? My knowers,
Yeah, they
maybe
actually-
we don't know anything; they know it all. So my knowers could tell us what's going on. But I think look, I love Chick-fil-A.
Sure.
It's the gay hating chicken. I mean, look, and by the way, my LGBTQ plus friends, I love you. I support you, and I stand with you. And I think all of my friends that are part of that community know that chicken can't hate. So in fact, I think you remember they did the protests. I mean, they had the whole thing. Which, by the way, I think Dan actually ended up meeting with the guy and hearing the other side and figuring it out. And made some adjustments even inside Chick-fil-A that people probably don't even realize.
Yeah.
And did some things and took a learning lesson and really listened, which, I thought was amazing. Because a lot of times people don't listen to the other side. But all of my friends that are in that community, they know that was like the most shortest lived protest ever. Because you have one bite of that chicken.
Have you ever
sandwich.
had that chicken? If you,
That
y'all out there
sandwich
never eat
is
Chick-fil-A,
amazing.
You have not. Where have you been?
Where have you been?
the buildings are
And you
across from a
always
Chick-fil-A.
want it on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
you
I
do.
want Chick-fil-A every Sunday.
Yep. And Monday I roll in there.
Yes. It's the greatest marketing he did is making sure it wasn't open on Sunday.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I love it.
But he signed every book. Like he gave us a book. He wrote a book. It's better to build men than I think it's better to.
Easier to succeed than fail.
He's did. And
that
it's
one?
better. It's easier to build men, or is it like better to build men than men? No, better to build children than to mend men, or better
Yeah.
to build a young guy. Essentially, the storyline was something around that. He gave us this book, signed it for us, and inside of it was this proverb from Solomon that said, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver and gold."
So true.
And so it's so true, right?
It-
Which as a kid, I think he gave me the book, and I was like, yeah, I've got
thanks.
a good name, Jason. I mean,
Yeah, is there a coupon in here?
yeah, Joe's got a good
Free
name.
chicken
Yeah,
I
right.
need a
Have you
sandwich.
seen the price of gold?
Where's my
lately?
Chick-fil-A?
I'll take some gold.
That's right.
So I mean, I think Solomon, like, he knew it, right? He had all the wisdom. They call him the wisest leader
Man
out
ever,
there,
right?
man ever, right?
Ever.
And he said it's better to have a good name than all the riches. You can chase after it all, but having a reputation and a name where, that's always important, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Success will find you if you have a good name.
Man, that's it, Juice.
Yeah.
You nailed it. That's
That's
it.
That's my
That's
butt, dog.
ding, ding,
Boom.
ding,
You
ding.
got
I'm
me
dropping
button.
knowledge.
Success will find you. It will.
Yes.
You just gotta live with some.
Yeah.
Say what you do. What you're gonna say. Do what you're gonna.
But do you
what
feel
say
like
you're
a
gonna
good
do.
name? Do you feel like a good name can get rubbed off on by being there's been times in my life I've been associated with people
Sure.
by my own choosing.
Sure.
And then there's times in my life that I find out even that person is not the person I thought they were. Sure. And, you can kind of be like guilt by association sometimes, right? And like, to me, I've been a part of even business deals where I've been, I'm like, man, I don't want to be associated with those jabronis,
Sure.
Hey, I need to tell you something right now. I actually have 3 active warrants. So
All right. Thanks for the integrity.
Thanks. He told us, right? Well, listen, we are going to end this podcast. Really appreciate it. No, we had a great time talking. I really appreciate you all listening to. I also really appreciate you guys being here. You guys have great integrity, and it's part of the reason why we're friends. All of you guys have good names in your communities, and I'm really proud to be your friends. I do want to tell you, this is our section where we say, listen up, kids. So I want to dive in real quick. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is looking. You can take care of your side of the street. That's all you can do. So take care of your side of the street. Other people's integrity is not your job. It's your job to say, I want my name to mean something, meaning you can't control people or places or things. However, you can control in how you react to it and how you interact with those in your part of the world. So look, stay clean, stay fresh, and stay froggy. We really appreciate you. Until next time, I'm not going to give you away who my guest is for the next one, but they will be good. Yeah, I'm not going to pull that one. No. But they will be good. Oh, no, hey, you never know. Hey. You never know.
But
they will be good. I think they'll be good. But yeah, hey, what the hell do I know? JB.
You've been listening to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB has worn quite a few hats. CEO, venture investor, accidental pastor of a downtown Atlanta church, board member, passive investor, and occasional public speaker. JB's passion with his show is sharing the good, the bad, and the downright absurd. Life's a mixture, right? JB has picked up some real gems along this journey. Lessons from the business world, the chaos of parenting, and the surprises of accidental leadership. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Jason on Instagram at _Jason_Becker. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time.